the next to last live transmission of 2010. Thank you for joining us today. We do have Jim Marrs joining us as well as Lou Rockwell live today. I'm going to dive straight into the news. But there's a story up at prisonplanet.com by Steve Watson. Naked wheelchair protester targeted by TSA over buttocks. Agents single out woman who stood up to airport tyranny, banning her from flying. They're now saying when she tries to fly again that her buttocks look strange and may be a bomb and she can't fly. You really cannot make this type of stuff up. That's what News 6 in Oklahoma City is reporting, that they say that the unusual contour of her buttocks area, she's now banned from flying for the shape of her buttocks. Now, this is not a joke. It sounds ridiculous. It sounds crazy. It's designed to be crazy. This is psychological warfare. When they can set the precedent to do bizarre things, like, say, if you support Ron Paul, you may be a terrorist and you're going to be spied on. When the government can arrest students for having Luden's cough drops that aren't even over the counter. They're not even a drug. They're a candy. When they set the precedent to arrest you if you bring a plastic knife to put butter on your bread. This, quote, zero tolerance is about not using your own individual mind in determinations. It's about government minions, corporate minions, fully submitting to whatever corporate or government culture that they're basically put into. But I have the mainstream news here. The TSA says that the contour of the buttocks is not going to be allowed. So now, in the body scan, if they don't like the shape of your body, we also have mainstream reports, and I hate to talk about things like this, but I mean, I'm not normally into... in fact, I'm never into potty humor and things like that. But I mean, it's not humor. It's serious. They are now singling women out and asking them and touching and asking what feminine menstrual things are. And it's all about you being trained that something's wrong with you. You're bad. Government is good. And their legions, their armies of bureaucrats, they're our God. And again, this has all been on record, that they'd have face scanning cameras up nationwide and license plate reading cameras up nationwide and worldwide, that everything we're doing is being tracked in real time. It's all illegal, violations of federal and state law. The government doesn't care. They are setting the precedent to just break every law under the sun while creating new laws for the American people. In fact, Jaron, I had you re-pull it yesterday, and then I never got to it. I want to cover those 14 things that show how Americans are being treated as criminals. I want to cover that first. Thank you, sir. That's from Monday, and I haven't gotten to it yet, and it's Thursday. It's been up on Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com since then. Thank you. In fact, let me just read this article now from the Economic Collapse blog. Almost everything is a crime in America, except for government crime. Oh, you... Project Shad, thousands of times, nerve gas U.S. troops to death, sprayed them with radiation. Oh, no investigation, nobody gets in trouble. Oh, you're shooting up little kids with live syphilis? No investigation. Oh, you're taking foster kids in New York and strapping them down and testing pesticides on them till they die? New York Daily News? No investigation. Oh, DynCorp caught running giant child kidnapping rings? Chicago Tribune, congressional hearing? Rumsfeld's asked about it? He says, we're not investigating. They're allowed to. He actually said that the company is not in trouble. I've played the clip. I mean, it's just pure mega evil out in the open, and they're going to have telescreens bossing us around and spying on your neighbors and just wall-to-wall super tyranny out in the open. They're just right up in our face saying this is the way it is, and we don't care what you think. And they're going to take your pension funds, everything. I mean, we haven't even gone into the tyranny yet. This whole grid's being put in place to rob everybody. And the laughing yuppies are going to find out. And they're so cowardly. As this all happens, they're going to worship government even more. It will become even more religious to lick boots, to prostrate yourself before tyranny in a uniform. It is just going to be total degradation of the human spirit, because America is being judged. America loves the blood of 51 million dead babies, and now America is going to literally sink into hell. Now, on the other side of this, by the way, I was reading last night. In fact, I printed it in Aaron's office. There's a new show on MTV where they glorify how great and modern and cool and stylish abortion is for your average 13-year-old. That's the average age, is about 13 and a half, and the demographics for Sumner Redstone's MTV. And parents put their children in front of it, learning how cool abortion is. It's so cool. Just like the National Geographic had a big article about how cool it is that they have total tyranny in Singapore. I mean, the whole article is just like, man, it is awesome. And the first photograph in the article is a giant 1984 telescreen with a soldier on it, with everyone arrayed before it, with a high-tech, all-seeing eye above them. In fact, let me just show it to TV viewers, if you don't believe me. I mean, it's just everywhere. They are just selling pure evil. Torture, secret arrest, every form of corruption is just being flaunted in our face. But then, all over the nation, federally funded checkpoints taking blood without warrants. It's now going nationwide, as we told you it would. Just like we told you TSA would go into the streets. Just like because it's all public. Going back to this January 2010 issue that I just came across last week, of National Geographic, they've got the photo here, the opening photo in the article about the Singapore model, and it is pure 1984, and then the whole article is about how great it is. There it is, all-seeing eye with a soldier in the middle of it, with everyone arrayed before it. And they describe it as horrible but wonderful, like slitting your wrist and getting into a hot bath. And the population has the lowest reproduction rate in the world, and how wonderful that is. And now they're all dying. I mean, it's just wonderful. It's just totally wonderful. And, of course, how great the medical tyranny is, being scanned on the streets, and how you're executed for nothing, and just how good and how great this guy is, how he says we're all just animals in a social engineering control grid, and that we want tyranny. He's the minister mentor, Lee Kuan Yew. Oh, it's so good. And how great it is that they're bringing in foreigners to replace the dying population on the global plan as the model for the entire globe. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Just total sickness. Selling death as good. Now, continuing here, almost everything is a crime in America now. 14 of the most ridiculous things that Americans are being arrested for. And since I read this article a few days ago, and I remember all the articles they linked to, and this is the 14 examples, I instantly, just this week, had probably seen 20, 30 things far worse than even what's in this article. I mean, it's far worse. Doesn't it seem like almost everything's becoming a crime in America now? Americans are being arrested and charged with crimes for doing things like leaving dog poop on the ground, opening up Christmas presents early, not recycling properly, passing gas in class, or having brown lawns. But it is healthy for our society for the police to be involved in such silly things. It's not silly. It's training you that they're in your business, that telescreens are bossing you when you're at checkout lines, that they are going to intrude on you, and that that's the way it is. Every single day in the United States inches closer to becoming a totalitarian society. I got news for you. There's still free speech limited, but everything else is already gone. That and the Second Amendment, they're coming after that. While there are some that would welcome the shift, the truth is that throughout history, the societies that have experienced the greatest economic prosperity have all had at least a certain level of freedom. Businesses thrive when people feel free to live and work. But see, they don't want competition. They want to consolidate. They want to shut down travel. They want to shut down tourism. They admit that's their plan. When a government tightens the grip too much, many people just start shutting down. That's exactly what they want. Just like places like North Korea, even though the rest of the world is sending them huge amounts of food, starvation is still quite common in the totalitarian regime. Yeah, I just wanted to add to that, that You know, for the average brain-numbed zombie that believes the police state's good and that thinks that what's happening in America is good, Democrats who didn't like it, now that Obama's in, they love it. Republicans that loved it under Bush, now that Obama's here, they don't like the police state because they think that if their party's in, it's somehow good. Your party, it's bought and paid for by offshore banks. Grow up. You understand? It's almost too late. It's too late if you keep sucking your thumbs. For new listeners out there who are laughing right now, it isn't funny. Tyranny isn't funny. History isn't funny. And it just goes on to talk about totalitarianism and how we're becoming that. Now let's go into the 14 points they point out. Number one, a Michigan man has been charged with a felony and could face 5 years in prison for reading his wife's email. But then, because it is illegal. But the government does it openly and no one gets in trouble. I mean, see, that's the most dangerous part about this. Number two, a 49-year-old Queens woman. Well, let me go back. Just like they announced in Pennsylvania and other states that the government is watching you over your computers at home, and the schools are tying into the computers, watching kids in the shower, in their bed. And the school told on themselves, and they're proud of it. And then no one got in trouble. No one was charged. It's totally illegal, absolute felony. They did it tens of thousands of times at one school, court records show, and no one gets in trouble. See? But you read your wife's email, she gets mad and calls the cops, boom, handcuffs, baby, you're gone. Oh, you're the 30 million illegal aliens, drunk driving, running around killing people? It's on record, they just let them go. You're a citizen, the book is thrown at you. See, it's a criminally organized system. That's what tyranny is. Tyranny is a world designed for criminals.